The World at Home.
Episode 4, Facing Uncertainty.
Hello everyone, welcome to the World at Home podcast. My name is Angela and I will be your host for this episode. Today we have a guest from India. She's a graduate student studying at the Ohio State University, and she will be sharing with us her experience through uncertainties as well as how she finds perseverance in the midst of challenges and what she has learned from that. Welcome, Bhavana.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Angela. I'm glad to be here and sharing my experiences with the new students or any student who's going through uncertainties in their life and how they can face it.
Yeah, cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like I said, you're from India, but how did you get here? What are you studying at OSU? And what led you to a school in the US?
So I got here in August 2022. I came here to do my master's in landscape architecture and city and regional planning. When I was in India, I did my undergrad in civil engineering, and then I started working as a planner for my city.
Okay.
And while working there, I came across flooding and everything, and I learned about green infrastructure, and then I was learning about more landscape architecture, and that's how I came across this field. And then I learned about the university and the Ohio State University, and the curriculum here was really great, and I felt like it was aligning with whatever I wanted to do with my life. So I think it was aligning with what I was looking for, and I came here to pursue my master's.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. So what was that process look like? I know some of the uncertainties that you faced was even before you get to the United States. So what happened in the application process? What did that look like? And how did you feel going through that?
Yes, I think every international student can connect with that because, the visa process is long and tiring, and you need a lot of patience to go through that process, and you have to wait for months to get to the visa, and you have to take a couple of exams IELTS and everything to get here. And it was a 6-month process I went through, but it was not long enough compared to other students, but it was a bit long.
Was it lengthy?
Yeah,
process?
It was a lengthy process.
Okay, it took 6 months. Is there any particular challenges that you face in the midst of that process that you were like, I don't know if going to the state is going to happen. I don't know how I'm...
Yeah, as I mentioned, it was a really long and tiring process, and it took me 6 months to complete all the process that I needed to come here. And then even during the process for the fees and the uncertainty with the rules and regulations that were happening, and even with the flights getting canceled and everything, I was questioning myself if it was worth it to go through all that process to come here. But now I can say that it was definitely worth it. Getting a visa slot was really difficult, and then I was uncertain that if I would be getting visa or not, and then it happened. After waiting for the visa slot for 3 months, I finally got a slot to give my interview. And I was worried about how the interview would go, but it really went well, and I got my visa and I'm here.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's exciting. So you say you come here in August 2022.
Yes, I got here by the end of July 2022, and my classes started in August 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you feel after you get here, after you just went through all that process of applications, interviews, visa, flying here, flights getting canceled, and now you're here in person? What was your initial reaction to flying?
Yeah, I think...
Did it feel this smells like freedom, or?
So I would definitely say that I was really anxious while getting on my flight, and it was even to leave your family and and being alone in a different country. I think the thought of that was really scary to me. But I knew that I can do that. And I was like, when I got here, I was really excited to like see, like everything is new. It's like a new culture, like it was all organized and it was like clean, and it was really exciting, and I was so excited and looking forward to like make new friends and like how my life would look like imagining that how my life would look like in the future. And it was really exciting in the beginning, but I would say that after I got here and I was really overwhelmed to see like people. Like, not that I'm like coming across like Indians, but I was talking to like people from different countries and like even like people from like America. I was like, I had so many insecurities which I didn't know that existed in me, and I was not confident or fluent in English at all. And then I was like, I was so scared like to talk or like initiate a conversation that what if they don't understand what I'm saying, or like what if they misunderstand me, or like what if they think I'm like dumb or like stupid, or you know, those questions were like meandering in my mind a lot. And also like so many cultural shocks I faced. And for example, in India, we don't greet like strangers or do small talks with them.
Yeah, like
unless
nodding
you know
or
them.
saying hi in the grocery store.
Yes, it's like, hi, hello, how are you doing? Like we don't do that for strangers in India, like, you know, and that was really different to me, but it felt good. It was like, okay, yeah, it's good to like talk to strangers and greet them, but I mean, sometimes. But it was really creepy for me coming from like the background. Like unless they want something from you, they don't even like say hi or like something like that. But I think the people here really were really kind to do that, and I think that was like different for me compared to India. And and even like with the food and everything. So I don't know how many people can connect with me. So I'm a vegetarian like growing up. So it was difficult for me to like adapt to US with the food, because I remember one day when I first got here and I saw McDonald's on the street, and then I was like, oh, this looks familiar. And it's like, in India we have McDonald's too, and we have vegetarian options. And I walked into a McDonald's and I like saw the menu and I saw like cheeseburger. Oh yeah, it looks like it doesn't have any meat in it. But then I learned that it has like meat in it, and I was like, oh, the only option I have is like the fries.
Yeah, or the salad.
Yes, I think that was really interesting to me, and that was like a cultural shock for me. And
so how do you feel after, I know you say you feel a little overwhelmed with all the culture shocks and everything. Did the uncertainties about visa, like, do you feel at ease after you arrive at United States? Do you feel like, okay, now that all that is behind, I've done all this, cool, I can, you know, study in peace? Or is there still some sort of uncertainties that was lingering?
So definitely I would say it wasn't easy, because the visa situation, you have to be really careful and you have to like follow all the rules and regulations which were there, and even like to think about like financially. So you cannot like work outside of campus, and like we have so many rules. So I think like to abide with all of those, and like having to manage like all the finances, and like you have to like think about like every dollar you spend, and like like having to like manage expenses, and because you are in a different country where you don't know anyone, and there are like no parents to help you or anyone to like take care of you if you have like no money or something. And I do not come from a really rich family, so like I cannot even rely on my family, and because of like the dollar. And it was really challenging in the beginning to like, I used to like convert everything into Indian rupees and see like how much I'm spending. But that's not, I do not recommend doing that. But like you have to see it in like dollars and like spend wisely, I guess. I think that was really challenging. And be even like with like housing and everything, you know, you have to be, if you want to move, or like you have to pay deposits and everything, and if you are like looking for a new roommate, you have it's like the transition is like so challenging that, and even at the right time everything should happen, like you have to find a roommate and everything, you know.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more of that. Like, have you went through an experience of, you know, either the financial uncertainties or, you know, like you said, housing transitions? Because I know me personally, I was very stressful when I was in college about, I just need to move dorm every single time. I came with 2 suitcases when I first arrived in the States, but as the years goes on, there's more things that I have collected, and there's more things that are moving with me, and I just need to figure out more of like, how do I transport this? Where does this go? And, you know, when I'm spending the summer and stuff like that. So share a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
So yeah, definitely I would say that my situation was not common to other international students.
What?
Because I feel like it was really hard for me, because the most uncertainty was like my finances, that I thought I would like get funding by the time I thought I would get, but it was really not like going as the way I planned it was going. So I was in a situation where I was like, I cannot like pay my rent anymore, and if I pay rent, I don't have anything to eat, you know. It was like so uncertain, like
so you either have to pay rent or you can save the money and eat, but can't pay rent.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was my most uncertain situation, where I had to like look for options, like what can I do? Like I cannot pay the rent, I think. Yeah, I was like depressed too. It was like I was like thinking through options, like what should I do? Should I go back home, or should I just like leave everything, like all of my dreams? I felt like all of my dreams were like crashing, and I was upset with everything that was like going bad, and I felt like reaching out to someone, but I didn't know who. And then I approached like Office of International Affairs with my situation, and they connected me with IFI, who had really kind people who were like willing to host me for like temporarily until I find like a solution or like funding or anything like I needed. And yes, I came across I met these beautiful people. I feel like that changed my life a lot. And yeah, and like with the seasonal depression, I would say like I come from India, and it is really...
It does not snow?
Yeah. And I would say this is the first time I saw snow after coming here, and I didn't know how it feels, but I think when it first snowed, it felt really magical, because it was like in movies. Like I have never seen that in my real life.
Yeah, and everything's white.
Yes, everything's white and sparkly and everything. But until later I realized that it is not good.
No, until you need to like shovel out your car.
Yes, and also like you have to plan everything in the daylight, because the daylight ends at like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. It gets darker, and you have to plan everything accordingly, and you don't get enough sunlight, and which I didn't know that you take supplements for like vitamin D, because we have enough sunlight in India. You don't have to do that.
You probably have an excessive amount of sunlight in India. Yeah.
Yes, like we don't have to take supplements, and here like I didn't know that. Like no one told me that, oh, you have to take vitamin D supplements for you to like stay active, or you know. I think that was like a different, it was really challenging for me, the weather, because like icy sidewalks, you don't know where you're gonna fall, and you have to like pick right shoes and like layer yourself to keep yourself warm and everything.
But then you walk inside and it's already warm with the heater, and then you can take off the clothes, but you have all these sweaters and everything and puffy coats, and It was really challenging. All these different things that are happening here in the States that are you have never seen before in India. Like, how do you overcome those challenges?
So yeah, definitely I had to go through that, because I never like cared to ask people. I felt like, oh, okay, like I can do it myself. I think I thought that like without asking help, I thought that was like my strength that I'm not asking help for anyone. But I would say
you're
that
independent.
yes, that I'm independent at everything. I feel like later I learned that you have to be dependent because we are made to be dependent on each other, and asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's like a sign of strength. And you're in a different country, you have to make friends and you have to know how things work in like a new place, you know. It's not like, I mean, you can learn, but it's going to take time. But like I arrived in August and it was winter in December. But like I didn't have enough time to like equip myself for like the seasonal changes too. And it was really, it was really depressing until I met like the family, my host family, and they really helped me like what layers I should wear, like how should I wear, like what shoes I should pick, and how I should be careful on like the icy sidewalks, and how like I should be like equipped for like delays in like public transportation because of like the snow and everything, you know.
So you learn all this through your host family. How long did your host family hosted you?
It was for 6 months. They had me for 6 months, and they were really welcoming. And as I mentioned before, like I used to be anxious while talking to people because I thought that I was not fluent enough, or I'm like saying something wrong or anything like that. But I used to not talk to them for like few months when I first visited, like when I started staying with them. I was like, I used to be an introvert. I was like, I'm so glad that you hosted me, but I don't want to talk to you. Like I'm glad, but I felt like really, I think there was nothing wrong with them. I think I used to have like social anxiety, and I think also like the other culture, I'm like trajectory, but it's okay. The other cultural shock I also experienced was like in education like system, because in India I think the professor or the lecturer like they just lecture as like they give it's like hierarchy, so we are like more prone to listening than just like engaging in the discussion. But like when I got here, it was different because our professors wanted us to engage. And it's
they're pointing at you and ask you to answer questions in front of everybody.
Yes, but that was like not normal from the place I grew up. So it was really challenging for me because I said like I wasn't fluent in English and everything was discussion. And I think by the time I make up a sentence in my mind, the topic has been already passed. And I used to be like so nervous about it. It was like, what is happening? Like, does the professors think I'm really dumb or something, you know? But I'm not. I'm like really good at it. I just need some time to like, you know.
Process
and like
translating
it in my mind. Like I'm taking a lot of time to like translate in my mind. I think communicating that with them, that I was going through this, and for them to be like, I think communication was the key. I think I communicated with my professors that I was going through this, and they were really patient with me, and they were like, gave me some time to think about it and like explain it in front of the class. I think that's how I grew, like as a person, like in the class too, and like my professors like understanding like where I come from and what I go through, you know. I'm really thankful for my like professors too at my university.
That's really nice. So what was the turning point per se? Because you say you were very introverted, you didn't want to talk to your host family even though you know they're really nice. Like what brings you out of your shell to kind of, you know, communicate openly with your professor and share that? And maybe you also probably done some similar things with your host family as well. Like what changes you in that?
So I would say that I was really hesitant to like share anything with them of like what I was going through, because I would say the culture I grew up in is like you face everything by yourself, and you're strong because you're like facing everything by yourself. And I think for me to understand and overcome that was like challenging. So I mentioned about my host family, and they were really kind, loving, and joyful all the time. I was like, okay, how are you? Like so joyful even in times of like uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like I was living with them. I was like watching them like closely and what they were going through, but like even in times of uncertainty they had really so much peace, so much joy, and that they could love other person who were living with them in those times, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw them and I was like, I want that in my life. And I was like, I started asking them questions and like, what's the source of it? Like, how are you so joyful, and how do you have so much peace? It's not just like they were pretending, it was like coming from their heart. And it was like, I was so intrigued by all of that, and I started like asking questions and everything. And that's when I learned about God and everything, and my faith has exponentially grew after that. And yeah, even though I was like facing challenges by myself in through those times, I found myself like really peaceful and joyful at the same time. And I really learned like how to lean on God like in those uncertain times, and how he will provide everything, you know.
And so I know you have shared this a little bit with me, but do share with our students as well, of how, like, more details of process of how you found God, like what was that look like, and how has that changed you now, you know, being here for a couple more years, obviously in your program, and change you as a person, how you know, deal with challenges and uncertainties.
Yes. So yeah, like how I talked about how I found and learned about God through my host family, but at also the same time, I also had personal encounters with God. Like, no one forced me to go to church or like think about it, but it was my own choice, and I started exploring. And then I went to like first Christian wedding, and I learned about like I heard like a worship song, and then I was in tears. I don't know what it was, but I felt like a lost kid who find their like parents in the crowd, you know, in like a fair. I don't know how to explain it. Or maybe like a person who saw like who was walking in darkness and like suddenly saw a light, you know. I felt that. And then what? Yeah. And then like when I was living with my host family, like not everything was going great, and I still had financial struggles, mental struggles, and everything I was going through. And also it was difficult to make friends too, you know. How like when in India it was so much easier to make friends, but like when I got here, it was, I think everyone are willing to do small talks, but I feel like it was more surface level, but it took a long time to make like really good friends with like deeper connections. I think I was grateful for my host family because they are really my like friends, good friends now. So I'm so thankful for them. Yeah, I think even in those times, like in that uncertainty, like I was like having no friends or like no financial. I was like no solution for my financial struggles, but I still had like so much peace from God that I knew that like I was not walking alone, and I had like God with me too, and that He will provide no matter what. And yeah, I think like just having like faith and like trusting in Him and like having like praying, and you know, I think everything fall into place.
Yeah,
you know?
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing. Is there anything that from that process, obviously, I think the biggest thing that you share is that you encounter God personally. Do you have any tips or decision-making process strategies that now when you encounter uncertainties that you deal with it in a different way?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned before, like don't be afraid to ask for help. And that is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength, and we're all like dependent on each other. I think being or willing to be open to like receive help and also give help when needed. I think that was the first thing that was really helpful for me. And also with like the cultural differences, I think not comparing everything with like my culture, or like seeing them as like both different and respecting them for like both. And also like, yeah, it's not like you're losing your identity, it's like you're like expanding your identity in like the culture too, and like with the food and everything, you know. It's like you can do like both, you can do both, and you're respecting both of the cultures and everything.
Has your experience in uncertainty changes the way that you help other people or how you support others? Say when you're going through the financial things and the housing situations, and obviously you had the host family and you become really good friends with your host family, and then you found the sources of joy and blah blah blah. How, in that experience of what you just learned, if anyone come to you with uncertainties and challenges, is there anything applicable in that experience that you would like to share with the people that came to you and asked for help?
Okay.
Or how do you support them?
Yeah, I think I mentioned about like cultural experiences and like financial experiences, and I feel like everyone has their like different like needs, and when they come to United States, I think I would recommend them to like explore like events, or like IFI has so many resources, and it's like international friendships, like they give like really good opportunity and exposure to you connect with like different people from like different countries and learn about their culture, and like being open to like what you are going through and like what they have been going through, and like maybe willing to like share with each other like what were the challenges they went through and how they could like solve together, or like maybe, you know, they might have the similar experiences as you've been going through, and they might have like found the solution, or like how they could help them, or like the finding the resources they did, and like being able to help them. And even like IFI has like so many like events, like so I come from India. I love like all the festivals like Holi and Diwali. I think I had really great opportunities because like IFI celebrates like each festival, and I was like so happy to see that like it was like it felt like a home away from home, you know. I think it was really like a different experience for me, and I really enjoyed it because I'm not only celebrating my festivals for like Indians, but I also like celebrating with like so many people from different countries, and like learning to like respect each other's like culture and everything. I think that was really cool for me. And also like being able to like reach out to like professors, or like all the like university resources. You would like, if you're struggling with mental health, like as I was like depressed, I think being able to be open about it and like sharing like what you've been going through, because you're like not only helping yourself, but also maybe you're like talking to someone who's been going through the really similar experience, and maybe like helping each other, you know, through those times. And so like when you're like, if you're like scared about language, or like not being able like fluent in any things, or I think for like just being like open to learn, and being like like being able to ask like or just like, I don't know, like just like talk and like help. If you have like friends who are like fluent in English, maybe willing to ask them to like to correct you, or like I think that's how you grow. And like even like IFI has like English conversation partner who would help you with like English speaking. I would say I'm not really fluent, but I think I'm still growing. I feel like my host family really helped me like open up and like talk, and like I was not fluent, but I used to make like grammatical like mistakes, yes, and they used to like correct me, and I think like we are in like a different country, but by like not getting offended, or like not thinking that you don't know anything, but I think being able to like open and learn and grow, I guess yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. And one thing I find English conversation partner really helpful is that is a setting outside of academic, so you feel you're not being judged. There's nobody grading your grammar. It's okay if you say something wrong. And I would say most of the time, international student has better grammar than most Americans.
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
So, you know, and it's just really helpful for you to be conversational, comfortable with one another, and not feeling like that you need to go on presentations or anything. There's no judgment about your pronunciations. And again, English is your second language. You have already spoke one more than everybody else here who are, you know, whose native tongue is English. So I think that is something that's very impressive that people didn't think much about.
Yeah.
You know, how your brain has to work. So I speak Mandarin and English. Mandarin is a completely different beast comparing to English grammar, and your brain is working on both at the same time. And I'm sure that your brain is working on both at the same time too. So yeah, really be encouraged and seek resources that exist. I think there is a lot more resources that are there to help you through the university, through your local communities, than you can ever find or ever need.
Yeah.
So just reaching out. But that is very good advice. I've used some of that myself too.
Yeah, I think I also like knowing the fact that language is just like the bridge to like communicate. You know, it's not like you have to be fluent or something, but it's just like being able to communicate like what you're going through, like your ideas and everything. I think like it will give you like more opportunities to grow. And
cool. So obviously you have shared a lot, you know, because coming to the United States is a lot. And so, but there is one thing I am curious to see, because you have shared of like all the different uncertainties that you have faced. How is your current relationship with uncertainties? Like, are you afraid of walking to them? Do you welcome them? Are you encouraged when you're going through them? And are you more or less afraid of walking to the unknown or the uncertainties now?
I would say that it took me a long time to learn that like uncertainties or like challenges you face is not that you're lost, but it's like you're like growing like as a person. And I feel like
what is, because of all the things that you just been through or just share with us and have been through, what is your current relationship with uncertainties? And are you more or less afraid of walking to the unknowns now?
I would say it is the opposite now. I feel like it took me a long time to learn that uncertainty means like you're not lost. It's just like you're growing. And every uncertainty you face is like shaping you into the person you're becoming now. And it's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that if I'm facing uncertainties, it's like I'm leveling up, or you know, and I learned to lean more on God. Yeah. So I'm not afraid, I should say.
Okay.
So I'm not like now afraid to like if there are like uncertainties in my life. I feel like it taught me like how to lean more on God in those situations, and also like thinking the fact that it is helping me to be a person who I'm right now, and I don't see them as like I'm being like lost or like I'm doing something wrong or anything, but I feel like it is shaping me into a person which I'm really now, which is like good. I think that's what I'm trying to say is like it will help me grow as a person. And I think it will open more opportunities in your life like than you ever imagined or you could do, just like this podcast. I didn't know.
Hey, new challenges.
Yes, I am nervous and I'm still nervous, but I know that this is good and it will help others, you know. I think this was
cool. Is there anything else you would like to share that you didn't get to?
Not so much, but I maybe want to close that like the everything that I've been through, like all those challenges, like taught me how to be patient. Like with the climate, it's gonna change, but you have to like adapt to it. You know, it taught me like patience and like and even like going to church and like making friends. And I think it taught me like the strength of like being in a community and like helping each other and relying on each other in times of in times of like difficulty.
Yeah.
And also like even with the finances, like I feel like I grew so much as a person, and I know that like how I can like manage like my finances and like take care of it. And yeah, and even with like the culture, I talked about like how I could respect both cultures and like how I can expand my identity just instead of like losing it. I love to wear like my Indian outfits and like eat Indian food. It's just not like you're like you should not do that or you should like forget about it. It's just like enjoying your culture too, and also like learning about different cultures, and you grow as a person. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your experience with us about uncertainties and challenges. Me, myself, felt very encouraged, and I'm sure many of the international students are going through similar experience with you and feel encouraged as well of how you overcame all those things, and knowing there's people out there wanting to help them, and there's people out there, there's communities out there that have the resources and wanted to be part of their journey as well. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me too. And I'm really glad to be sharing all of this in my journey with you guys. And also I'd be really glad if it helps at least one student who is going through the
I'm sure
situation.
It will help many more.
Yes.
Looking for an international student community? Join our WhatsApp group or check out our website for an in-person location near you at ifiusa.org.
International friendships.